The question from the audience is, will city services improve in the next 4 years? Services such as the fire department, the police department, the street crew, and the schools. If so, what plan do you have for improving these services for the city?
Yes, my name is Kip Chappell. So it's the question that you just asked me that I will, if I'm elected, I will do my very best for the citizens here. That's what I'm here for, and that I will work hard for the fire department and the police department. And if there's any kind of questions you want to ask, feel free to ask me. I will want to try to work with hand on hand with the citizens. And right now, I don't have any information, because I am not in office. Thank you.
Mr. Hinton? No, Mr. Hinton, it's your turn. We go down the whole row. Everybody gets a chance to ask. Yes, it's for every candidate.
Yes, I think that we're going to see improvements in public safety and in public works. As time goes by, and hopefully these departments will get new technology, new equipment, and, among other things. I'm hoping to be instrumental in making sure that they have the funding that they need to be able to buy this equipment and technology.
Mr. Perez?
I think we're leaving out one big part of the services, and that's the EMS rescue squads. I don't think they're completely city funded, they're privately funded, but I think we need to give a little bit more to them because they are one of the first responders and everybody keeps forgetting about them. As far as the firefighters go, I'm the son of a firefighter and my brother's a firefighter. I was raised on firefighter money and my dad was always gone a lot because firefighters are underfunded, underpaid, and they all have to work on their days off from the fire department. And police officers, I'm not too much familiar with what they do as far as their schedules, but they're the life of our city. They protect us. Some people are saying we need safer streets, stronger city. I believe our police department is wonderful. I did a plumbing job over there the other day, and we got an arsenal back there to suit the city. I just think we might need to beef it up, man it, because the city is outgrowing the streets and stuff like that. So, and as far as the street departments go, I'd love to see, before everybody wants to bring in all this industry and everything, the congestion. We need to work on the roads as we're building roads up so they're easy access, not sitting in Highway 21 for 30 minutes to get from the Quintard Mall to Chick-fil-A. I think they're just too crowded. And as far as the other public works, the water department, everything like that, they need to be funded because we're all part of Oxford.
I said earlier that I would be. Hello. That was testing. That better? Yeah. That was made in China. Anyhow, I said earlier in my statement that I wrote the legislation for the firefighters and law enforcement. That goes unsaid that my support for them is what it is. The safety of the police officers and firemen, they put their lives at risk. They'll risk their lives to save an old outbuilding. And a police officer will go out there and try to get the bad guy that's coming in your outbuilding. They put their lives on the line. I walk the walk, I just don't talk it. I think all of you know about the Justin Sola Memorial. That can happen to any of them when they go out here today. They walk up beside the tinted windows in a car. They don't know what's waiting on them. Shame on us if we don't give them what they want. Now, that said, that's not to say that the city of Oxford has not been doing the right thing. What it does say is what was alluded to earlier. Oxford has grown to East Avoga, to Atlanta, back to Miami and up. And the growth requires a longer response time. And if someone's coming in your front door, you don't have a lot of time to wait until the budget is done. So today I was coming up 78 by Martin's, and there was no ragged, if any of you guys in here, I feel bad for you, there's no ragged van. Why? It said the city of Oxford. I rolled my window down, I said, I feel bad for you fellas. Y'all got the raggedest looking equipment I've ever seen in my life. For a city with Cadillac money, you're driving Chevrolet vehicles. We should never see that. They come out by my house to do things, we got bad equipment. You went 15 seconds too fast. Thank you very much.
You ask about a plan that I would support. As I said, I believe we're at a critical point in our city where our city has outpaced our public safety. My plan would be to support the need to increase full-time firefighters to 10 full-time firefighters in addition to our current 13, 6 part-time firefighters, and continue a hybrid department with our volunteers. Our volunteers are some of the best trained firefighters in the state. A lot of them are firefighters at other departments. I would support new stations located to service the areas of the Bynum and Coldwater area and the Friendship area, including the Oxford Exchange. The number of police officers has not kept pace with the growth of the city. I would support increasing the number of officers on street patrol. The need to improve our staffing with our firefighters and police officers is not only an issue for the safekeeping of our homes and businesses, but it's also a serious safety issue for our firefighters and our police officers themselves. I would also support continued technology improvements. We have laptops in every one of our police cars. I would like to see us put air cards in those laptops so we can get information immediately in the car, as many other cities have done. We've taken the biggest step by getting the laptops, but we just need to finish that by simply putting an air card in the car. With our streets, I would support a 4-year plan to map out projects for our city so we could stagger those out. And I also support completing the access management plan that's currently going on Highway 21 South, including the exits at I-20, to make the streets safer and easier to travel in those areas.
Firefighters are very important to me. I was a volunteer firefighter for Oxford for 2 years. So it is a very important part of Oxford, and I understand that. I believe that we have some of the best police and fire protection that money can buy. We fund those departments very well, and you can never do too much for them. Whatever they need to protect us, I'm for it. If it's location closer to Bynum, Coldwater, it doesn't matter. I'm for it. Because I do believe they are the first responders, and when you do need them, you can't have enough of them. And you hear people say, well, we got too many, they're sitting around. Well, that's on a good day, you are right. But when you have problems, when you have fires, you want everybody you can get, and you want them there now. So on that, I'm 100% behind anything that can better our police departments and fire departments. Our streets and roads, I think, are going in great directions. We just need to keep that going. We don't need to stop. We need to keep going, building, making our streets and roads better and safer for our citizens. Thank you.
I think the start of the question was, during your 4 terms, should the city services improve? If they don't improve, we as a council have not done our job. But one of the things that I think we should look at is our police department. Not the police department per se, but as the staff. Or we may be staffed for the population, are we staffed for the size of our city? There shouldn't be a mother, daughter, wife, or husband that when their spouse goes on patrol that they have to worry whether or not they come back. We need to ensure that there's enough staffing that when there's backup required, there's backup there. As far as the fire department, back in 2006, we asked the fire department to give us their 5 and 10 year plan. Their 5 and 10 year plan was to start staffing each one of the outlying fire stations so that they could be manned full time. We haven't started that, but I think we should. As far as the city services, as far as the grass cutting, the grass cutters, the road crew, I think we're large enough that we need to begin looking at satellite stations in both in our east and in our west parts of the area. We have one city barn that's in the middle of the city. I don't think that's big enough. I don't think it's ample enough to cover both to the east and the west. I think the east and I think the west itself should have their own satellite service for those type of services.
For you that was in the forum last week, I stated my interest in improving the infrastructure of Oxford. With the money that we have in reserve, I think that we should provide funding for satellite fire stations. I know these are not equipped for sleeping quarters, but you can certainly staff those from, say, 6 a.m. to 10 or 11 p.m. at night, and giving you at least 2/3 more coverage than you have in those remote areas now. The police department, I believe in giving all of our first responders the money and the equipment that they need, because if they're safer, then we are safer in turn. I believe that we do need to address the congestion on our streets. That's not something that happens overnight. I'm not here to tell you that we'll do this or that. If I'm elected, the first thing I would do is meet each department head and let them tell me what they need, not what I think they need. Then I think talk with the financial directors, see what the funds are and how they're currently funded and what they need to have. So I'm not saying that I'm going to make any changes they need. I would want them to come to me and tell me, I would show an interest in what they actually need, because they know their departments better than any of us. Thank you.
One of the things I think that is real, as everyone has said, is we need our streets to be safer. We need to be able to know that there are enough police officers out on patrol that when we call, we can get an answer, and for them to be safe so that they can have the backup that they need. So I think that we need to look at the number of people that are there on patrol. Same thing with the firefighters. But then when they get to us, we need to think about this. Are they skilled? Do they have the skills that they need to answer the question and the problem that they are presented with? And I think that will all go back into the money that we put in to the development, the professional development for these firefighters and for the police officers. Number one, you have to pay with a high rate of pay to get people that are skilled, that really are dedicated to this job and not just looking for a paycheck. So I say we would need to pay them more, get them more training on the work that they do, and then be able to support them and meet with them. I think listening to the police officers, listening to the firefighters, they know more of their needs than anybody up here does. And so I think we have to just be open and listen to what they have to say. One thing that I do hope that we can do is to add some cameras in special areas in places where we do have some issues. And so that's one of the specific things that I think we need to address for safety.
You guys will pass the microphone to Mr. Henderson on the right.
I understand the question correctly. We had to do with the environment and police infrastructure. As I said in my opening remarks, I mentioned the fire department and the police department several times. We have 3 firemen who saved someone's life recently, and we recognize them. That shows the professionalism and the willingness to do what it takes to get the job done, for the people that are part of our fire department. As I mentioned also, we established a full-time fire department when I was part of the council from 2004 to 2008. So we would not have a full-time fire department at this time had the council at that time established a full-time fire department. The fire department gets funding from a fire tax. They're able to purchase, when I was on the council and others on the council, they were able to purchase fire trucks. We were able to build a new fire station. We do need to continue to expand our fire stations and staff them. I mentioned that in my comments, that we need to hire additional firefighters. As far as the police department, we do need more police patrols. I've heard that from several citizens. We need to enforce the laws that are on the books. And so if we're speeding, we need to write a ticket, and enforce those laws. And so they do a good job. I've talked to Chief Partridge several times. We increased the funding for their equipment. He has been able to secure some equipment through different organizations from the government. We even own an airplane. How many of y'all know our police department owns an airplane? So our police department has, a wealth of resources, but we do need to continue to fund our police department. As far as infrastructure, I mentioned increasing the sewer coverage. We budgeted over $1 million a year when I was on the council for street improvements. So, thank you very much.